when I joined MTR coming up for 3 years ago, we were just at the very early stages of a absolutely enormous expansion of the low carbon mass transit rail network in Hong Kong. The total commitment that we already have signed up to is about 140 Hong Kong dollars, which is 6, 7, well, I don't know, it's more than
17, 18 billion US,
yeah,
27, 28 billion Aussie dollar.
Huge amounts. Yeah. And we knew that we couldn't raise all of that in the usual way. You couldn't depend only on the usual Reg S US investors that populate Asia. Yes, that market's a lot bigger than it was, but all markets open and close, terms and conditions get more and less favorable. So we decided we absolutely needed to diversify. And we've done that in several different ways. We've now executed 7 transactions in the last 18, 20 months, raising 16, 17 billion US dollars. And each of those transactions has been different from the others. But I think one of the ones we're most pleased with is absolutely the Australian dollar deal that we did back in January this year. And as Daniel's hinting at, that didn't happen overnight. It was a very, very long-term process of preparation because we didn't just want to do a one-hit wonder deal that everybody would applaud and say, wow, that's great. We wanted to make the Australian dollar market a cornerstone of our future financing for the next 10, 15, and maybe more years. So we did put in a lot of effort. We did 3 non-deal roadshows around Australia. We spoke at investor conferences. We engaged with investors wherever we could. And I think that paid off. We also had the advantage of having some kind of local connection. Many of you will know, some of you will not, that we actually are the operator of the new metro in Sydney. You may not know that we actually operate Metro Trains Melbourne as well. So we had that opening introduction to investors here, and especially in Sydney, that was a very positive introduction and got the conversation going. So, with that preparation, we put together an MTN program, a specific AMTN program, so that we could signal to investors that, again, we're not here for one-time wonder. We're here to make this a part of our ongoing financing mix on a regular basis. And that seemed to have worked, and the deal stats, I think, show that.
Yeah, the deal stats, it's interesting because you went out and launched this 2 billion Aussie dollar deal. And then, of course, the market response, I think Brad mentioned that as well, it's 12.5 billion Aussie dollar. Were you shocked?
I think.
Did you over-prepare, maybe?
I don't think we over-prepared.
Yeah.
I think we did what we should have been doing. I think it was right. To be very frank with you, the banks did say to us, you don't need to come to Sydney to do the deal roadshow and to do pricing. And our view is, no, we do, because we are a foreign issuer. We're looking for a lot of money. These people have a lot of options. We need to put ourselves right in front of them. But I think, yes, the size was great. We're very pleased with it. I wouldn't say shocked, but we didn't take it for granted. I think people maybe outside Asia underestimate the huge amount of support we get from the Hong Kong market, the wider China market, other investors in Asia. But what we did have to pay close attention to was to make sure we achieved the objective of diversification. There was no point coming to Australia and giving all the allocation to our usual friends and supporters back in the Reg S market in US dollars and Hong Kong dollars. Much as we love them, that would not have been the point of the deal. So we know very well we could have taken more from that 12.5 order book. We could have driven a larger deal. We could have driven the price more tight. But we didn't want to do that because we had a key objective, and that was to get a decent amount of Australian and New Zealand accounts into the book.
Which you did.
Which we did.
Yeah.
What
was the proportion that?
43% across the 2 tranches.
Yeah.
And the target we set ourselves in that range of 40 to 50, maybe a bit more. So we're very happy with that outcome.